Let's see common patterns and anti-patterns uh, for Go solid principles. Okay, interfaces in abstraction. So defining interfaces that describe behavior rather than data. So Golang example is creating interfaces to define expected behavior. For example, io.Reader, http handler. So these are the things like the functions and structs we can use to this same operations. Dependency injection via interfaces. Pattern using interfaces to inject dependencies, allowing flexible and testability. The passing interfaces as function arguments or struct fields to achieve the dependency injection. Composition embedding. Using composition and embedding for reusability and building large structures. Embedding interfaces per or struct inside other struct to compose behavior or the functionalities. Functional options. Employing functional option to configure behavior during initialization. Using functional options to set optional parameter during object initialization. Table driven testing. So implementing table driven tests for different scenarios and enhancing the test readability. Example, writing test with a table of input and expected outputs to cover the various cases consciously. Common anti-patterns in Go that violate solid principles. Interface pollution. So anti-pattern is designing a large interfaces that force implementers to implement method they didn't need. So example, creating plotted interfaces that impose unnecessary methods on its users. Package level global state. Anti-pattern is like using global variables or package level state causing tight coupling. Declaring and using global variable that lead to hidden dependencies. Conditional behavior in interfaces. Anti-pattern is that implementing interfaces with conditional logic, breaking consistent behavior. Go example is that defining interfaces where the behavior of a method depends on a conditional statements, making implementation unpredictable. Inappropriate use of reflection. Excessive use of reflection leading the code that is difficult to understand and test. Over, I mean, Golang example is like overusing reflection to access and modify struct fields or execute function dynamically. It's a sacrificing type safety. Co-functions are methods. Anti-pattern is functions are methods handling multiple unrelated tasks, violating single responsibility principle. And method that perform various unrelated operations instead of delegating the responsibilities to a smaller functions or methods. So these are the things like common patterns and anti-patterns you should know before we are trying to implement solid principles in Golang. Thank you.